Okay, so I posted about this on Facebook the other day, and a few people are a little bit confused about what I was trying to do. It's something I've wanted to do for ages, but now, with my 50th birthday and the lockdown, I actually had a chance to try it out. And I'm just going to give a very simple overview about what I've done here. If anyone wants to know more details, then obviously you can ask. So all I've done is I've taken this simple little Android TV box, which I got from Amazon UK for 20 quid. Okay, that's all it is. Just a simple little Android TV box, and I've paired that with a controller that cost 3 times as much as the actual box, which has a whole selection of buttons on it, 2 analog sticks, D-pad, many buttons, shoulder buttons, triggers, even buttons on the bottom, everything. So a real state-of-the-art Bluetooth controller. And what I've done is I've flashed the box with a piece of software called emulation, or emulation to be exact. And what that does is that replaces the operating system with a new one. If I take the SD card out, it becomes an Android box again. If I put it back in, it boots straight to this. Okay? And forgive the talking in the background from my children and the shaky nature of the video, but in these small flats during lockdown times, it's a bit difficult to get any peace and quiet to do something like this. So as you can see, this is all set up to emulate old-fashioned games. And at the moment, I haven't got that many games installed, so it only shows you the consoles where I have games installed. But this will do everything from the earliest days of arcade through every single home console, believe it or not, up to the Saturn and the Dreamcast, which is quite astonishing. I haven't tried the GameCube yet. I'm going to give it a go, but I'm not expecting great results. So you have your arcade games, and if I click on those, you can see the different games that I've got running. Okay. Now, what I really like about this is, bear with me, I'm trying to use the controller at the same time. What I really like about this is if you run a game, okay, the game will run perfectly. It will zoom into the game. It'll run the game, and then as you can see, in the background, I've actually set it up so you get game-specific bezels. So obviously, it plays the game in the center of the screen, and you get bezels that actually correspond with the game on the right-hand side to keep you amused. And the games run absolutely perfectly, just like they did back in the day. As you can see, I'm just gonna, you can use, if the game used a joystick, you use the joystick. If it didn't, you can use a D-pad. We'll go back and just load another one to show you how the bezels change. So we'll go up to Gallagher. That's another one that everyone knows. It zooms in. And then it will just do this at a second while it's loading everything up. Again, you've got bezels at the side, as you can see. And eventually, when it's finishing crunching the numbers, you will get the game will come up. If you remember the old days, that was like when you used to reset the machine, you used to get that. So that's a bit of nostalgia as well. So that's your arcade games there. I'll just go back to the main screen. And you notice there as well that it gives you a little history of the game, which is very cool. And if I go back, it tells you actually, it plays a video of one of the games you've got installed, and actually tells you all about that particular machine. Now I'll show you the Dreamcast, because this is probably the most advanced machine that I've got it emulating, and I really wasn't expecting this from a 20 quid Android TV box, but just look at this. I can't really show it brilliantly because I'm trying to play the game and hold the iPad at the same time, unless I ask my long-suffering wife here just to film for a few seconds. No, she's too busy drinking her latte, so that's not going to happen. She's ignoring me. So I'm going to have to just kind of demonstrate it while I'm holding. But you can see that it works absolutely perfectly.
Hi, bro, Thunder!
Oh boy, that brings back memories. So I haven't tried any tried any other Dreamcast games yet, but I have seen this machine running Crazy Taxi, and I know that it works absolutely fine because I've seen it running. So this is quite astonishing that it does this. such a cheap machine.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
Okay, so I'm not actually playing the game, but as you can see, even that runs perfectly. And I'm going to cut this video short now because I'm sure you're not really interested in massive detail. But suffice to say that this can run pretty much any old game console that you can imagine. Okay, so on here so far, I've got it running the Super Nintendo, the N64, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, PlayStation Portable, it can do perfectly. The PlayStation, as long as you've got your BIOS set up, it will run that. Again, I'm trying to do it, so hopefully I've loaded the right ROM. Remember that load up screen? And there you go, that'll bring back some memories for you. There you go. PlayStation running smoothly. And as I say, it will even do PSP, N64. I'll show one more game that you will all recognise. There we go, I've got it on here. I was looking for Super Mario 64. I don't know if I've got it on. Oh, of course I'm in the stupid me. I'm in the Super Nintendo. Go to the N64, which might help if you try and play N64 games. Go to Mario 64. Of course you've got Zelda, GoldenEye, everything on here. Again, notice the bezels at the side. And I loaded the wrong game. That's what happens when you try to film and operate something at the same time. I did tell you it wouldn't be very professional. So you notice I've got two versions of Super Mario 64 on here, the Shindo edition and the normal version, just to show you the normal version running. And there you go. So that is a 20 quid Android TV box, flashed with a bit of free software. Add a admittedly quite expensive controller, and you have a state-of-the-art, I think a state-of-the-art emulation machine. Of course there are things out there that will emulate more, but for the price, I think this is just absolutely superb. There you go.